I remember the day clearly when my girlfriend walked into my apartment with that smug little smile on her face. She didn't even try to sugarcoat it. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "It's over. My new man is taking me to Paris." For a moment, I froze. Not because of her words, but because of how casually she said them. It was like all the years we spent together meant nothing, like she was throwing me away for a free vacation. I didn't argue. I didn't beg her to stay. Instead, I smiled, leaned back in my chair, and simply replied, "Enjoy your flight." She looked at me, a bit confused, probably expecting me to break down or fight for her, but I didn't give her that satisfaction. She tossed her hair back, picked up her bag, and left, confident that she was moving on to something better. What she didn't know was that her so-called new man was someone I had already met. He was fresh out of college, young, ambitious, and just last week, he had accepted an internship at my company. Yes, the man she left me for was my newest intern. I met him during the final round of interviews. He seemed sharp and eager, the kind of guy who wanted to prove himself. I hired him because I thought he had potential. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he would end up entangled in my personal life, let alone with my girlfriend. But life has a way of throwing these twisted surprises at you. The first time he walked into the office after she left me, I could see the guilt written all over his face. He knew exactly who I was. He tried to avoid eye contact, but I wasn't about to make it easy for him. I greeted him warmly, shook his hand, and introduced him to the rest of the team as if nothing was wrong. That was my silent power play. As the days went by, it became painfully obvious that he had no idea what he was doing at work. He struggled with basic tasks, missed deadlines, and constantly needed guidance. I had been prepared to mentor him, but now, every mistake he made was just another reminder of how shallow her decision was. She traded stability and loyalty for a man who couldn't even handle an entry-level project. Meanwhile, my ex kept posting pictures online, tagging herself in fancy restaurants, and bragging about her upcoming trip to Paris. She seemed to think she had won some sort of grand prize. But I knew the reality. The intern's salary wouldn't even cover half the cost of a decent hotel in Paris, let alone a full trip. I figured she didn't know that yet. At work, I kept my composure. I never mentioned her. I never hinted that I knew. I simply let him dig his own grave. When the team complained about his incompetence, I let them speak. When he asked for extensions, I granted them. I gave him every chance to prove himself, and every time, he failed. Then, one afternoon, I overheard a heated phone call he was having in the break room. He was whispering frantically, saying something about not having enough money for flights and hotels. The panic in his voice told me everything I needed to know. She was pressuring him about Paris, and he was crumbling under the weight of expectations he couldn't possibly meet. By the time their supposed Paris trip rolled around, he was drowning in work stress and financial mess. She must have realized the truth because her online posts started changing. The proud announcements stopped, and the captions became vague. Eventually, she went silent altogether. Not long after, she showed up at my place. Her confident smile was gone, replaced by a desperate look. She tried to play it off, saying things didn't work out with him and that maybe we should give us another try. I listened quietly, letting her talk herself into circles, pretending I hadn't already pieced everything together. When she finally stopped, I told her the truth. I told her that her new man was my intern and that I had watched him fail every single day while she bragged about Paris. Her face drained of color. She had no idea how small her world really was. She tried to argue, tried to justify her choices, but I wasn't interested. I told her calmly that I was moving forward, that I deserved someone who valued me for more than a vacation or shallow promises. Then I closed the door and walked away. The intern didn't last long after that. He quit within a few weeks, unable to handle the pressure or the shame. As for her, I heard bits and pieces from mutual friends, how she jumped from one short-lived relationship to another, how she never quite found what she thought she was chasing. I moved on, slowly at first but steadily. My career grew. I surrounded myself with better people, and I learned a valuable lesson about loyalty and self-worth. Sometimes betrayal is the best teacher. It hurts, but it also clears the path for something better. Looking back now, I don't feel bitterness anymore. Instead, I feel grateful that she revealed her true self before I invested more years into someone so shallow.